We are going to be going back in time. We're going to be looking at the Florida housing market, specifically the Villages, Florida market. It's going to be really Let's begin. Let's get started here. Let's see something that is going to be really interesting for you. Looking back at a few, actually, we're going to look at one particular video, which I found really interesting, looking back at the 2022-23 market. We're going to look at that first. And I think you're going to find it really fascinating. And when we look at this, you're going to be like, wow, I can't believe we were actually there. So let me play that. That means we've seen an increase. Remember, if you look back at some of the videos that I did and some of the updates from like 30, 60, 90 days before, the inventory was in the lower 300s. We've grown about 15 to 18. So I think there's an opportunity when we're seeing a slight increase in inventory. So that's back in 2023. That's what we're looking at in 2023. I was doing a comparison 2023 versus 2022 at the time. And we were talking about mid 300s as far as homes in the Villages. And of course, last year, early part of this year, we were over the 740, 750 mark. And the good news is that that number we've receded. So we were in an extreme seller's marketplace, probably not the most extreme we've seen, but definitely very extreme marketplace in the Villages, that is for sure. And it's kind of reverted a little bit. We've kind of gone back a little bit, which I think is actually very good, because now we're looking at about 565 homes on the market right now, 565 homes. And we were talking about some homes that were, quite a bit of homes back in 23 that were under 300,000. Now we're seeing about, let's give you an accurate idea. Probably looks about 150, maybe it's about 100. Yep, about 150 homes are actually under the 300 mark, which means that there are plenty of homes. I think the affordability factor has improved in the Villages. And I think we're also seeing a little bit more of a return to normal. I think when we get to the 300 mark, I think that's when things are going to be looking a lot more normal in the Villages, right? And we're in the mid 500s right now. We're seeing we're making some headway. We're seeing improvements in the market. Labor Day passed and we saw more activity in the marketplace. So I'm encouraged by that. Not that it's a hot market, but we've seen improvement for sure. Let's take a look at solds in the marketplace. Let's take a look at that. Because when you're looking at solds in the marketplace, it's going to give you an idea about where we are in relationship to other months in this marketplace in the Villages. So what we're looking at right now, let's look at the last 5 years. We're going to look at number of sales. So give you a little bit of perspective so you can figure out, okay, is this a good time to buy or sell? I think it's starting to revert back to a little bit more normal. These are the last 5 years. You're looking at, let's see, 2020, looking at over 150, obviously in 21, close to that 275 per month mark, and now under 200. But, there's consistency here, very similar to 23. There's a lot of similarities here. Prices have dropped a little bit, but not tremendously compared to the last couple of years. It's held pretty much the same. We'll look at that in a minute. But number of sales, 2025, August, 163. That is very comparable to 2021. In fact, it's the third highest August we've ever had this year. 140 in July. All right, not the best, less than what we saw the last couple of years. Similar to 2020, COVID year. 21, right through the roof. 2025, June, second best June ever compared to 2021. Third best, but very comparable last 4 years in May. So we're seeing lots of sales. So for people who are thinking, well, nothing's selling, the problem is that we've had so much inventory that it seems like if you've been sitting on the market, you're not getting a sniff, you're really sitting. So that's the problem. So it's really kind of the haves and have-nots. If your home hasn't sold, it's definitely because of price and exposure. So definitely talk to your real estate agent about that. Let's look at average sales price. Give you another look, right? 402,000 in August. All right. It's come down since, let's see, 2022, 439. That was the peak of the marketplace as far as sales. And that is, let's see, 37,000. That's not quite 10%. That's like a 9% drop, 8 to 9% drop in pricing since 21. But, it depends on the month. Look at this. April 2022, less than April in 2025. So, these numbers can be a little bit off, but I will tell you a little bit off as in deceiving. They're accurate, but they could be a little bit deceiving. But I will say that for the most part, we are off the peaks as far as sales of 21 and average sales price, which peaked in 22. Then, of course, the interest rates went through the roof. I think we're in a really good marketplace, by the way. We're in the beginnings of a turnaround, is my prediction. Turnaround, as in interest rates coming down and more sales. People are feeling better. We're talking to buyers and sellers. They're feeling better about what's happening in real estate. They're feeling a little bit more comfortable. So that's what's going on. If you have questions, I'm the broker here at Realty Executives. My name is Glenn Stein. It's right here. Number is 352-572-3796, 352-572-3796. Also, our website, buysellthevillages.com, BUYSELL, thevillages.com. You can check out the latest properties. Please like and subscribe. And if you have questions, just let me know. You can text me, call me anytime.